Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am doing another foundation roundup today, and it's not going to be a top 5. It's not going to be best in this category or the best in that category. It's going to be a roundup and a battle of the Lancome Teint Idole foundations, because they just released the new Care and Glow foundation last month, which makes it a trio of Teint Idole products. You have the original, you have the Teint Idole stick, and you have the Teint Idole Care and Glow. Now, I am aware that Lancome has other foundations in their line, but I wanted to keep it to these 3. I'm going to be doing a demo for each one of them. I'm going to show you how they apply. I'm going to tell you their claims. I'm going to show you what it looks like with a full face of makeup on top of it. And then at the very end, I am going to break down who I think they're best for, which one is my favorite, and all of that good information. Now, to keep it consistent, the only thing I changed throughout the demos was my eyeshadow, blush, and lips. The rest of the base products are consistent, and I will list everything down in the description box, as well as leave links so that you can get to them easy access. So if you want to see how each of these 3 perform and see which one wins out in my opinion, then let's go ahead and get started with day 1. All right, let's start out with the oldest one in the Lancome collection that I'm going to be talking about, and that is the original Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Foundation. For some reason, I thought it had a longer name than that, but apparently it does not. So this is what it looks like. It does have a pump, has the Lancome kind of flower symbol on the top. I am in the shade 260 Bisque Neutral, which is described as light medium with neutral undertones, which I typically go for either light medium or medium with neutral undertones if the different undertones are available, which in all Lancome foundations, they do cool, warm, and neutral undertones. So I'm gonna start out on one side and I will show you the difference, and then we'll do the full face. The color 260, see it's running down my hand a little bit. It's not too thick, but I would not consider this a thin foundation either. This is a 24-hour oil-free, buildable, full coverage foundation for a natural matte finish that's lightweight, breathable, and transfer resistant in an array of shades. It glides on seamlessly to cover imperfections without oxidizing, fading, caking, or creasing for a smooth, flawless-looking skin all day. So this is one side with the foundation and one side without. So you can see a little bit of my redness right here, which is typically what I have. And it really evened everything out. This is a good color for me, easily blendable. And I'm gonna finish off the other, and we're gonna see if we agree with the claim that it is a matte finish. All right, so this is the foundation. And I'll do a close-up. I don't know about y'all, but I don't feel like this is a matte finish. Now, I know that in the description, it says natural matte. In the kind of bullet points, it says matte. I definitely lean more towards the natural matte. I have never thought that this is a flat matte foundation. It just has never sat that way on my skin. And I think you can tell from the side-by-side that the finish of my skin was not that much different from when I did not have any foundation on to when I applied it. I just really think it's more of a natural skin-like finish versus matte. Now, in the description, it also says that it has over 50 shades, but I went and counted and I only saw 50. That's still a lot of options. So it does come in 50 shades. It's the most expensive out of all the ones I'm gonna talk about at $52. I'm not quite sure why there's such a difference in prices, at least between the 2 liquids that I'm gonna talk about, but alas, there is. This has what they call eternal soft polymers, which are supposed to provide an increased level of comfort while also aiding in the long wear of the foundation. Now, another thing I do want to point out when it comes to ingredients, I could not find fragrance listed on the ingredients that are listed on the website. However, there is a little bit of differentiation between the shades that have alcohol listed or denatured alcohol. So in the shades 85 to 495, I do not see any denatured alcohol. However, in the shades 500 to 560, there is denatured alcohol listed in the ingredients. So just something to be aware if you are someone who does not like to wear foundations that have that in the ingredient deck. So I'm going to finish off my makeup and we'll see how it looks with everything on top. All All right, so this is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Foundation with everything else on top. As I stated in the intro, everything that I'm using is going to stay the exact same except for eyeshadow and lips. But all the face products are going to stay the same so that you can see if there is a true difference and nothing is going to be compromising the finish one way or the other. So let's head on into day 2 and see which Lancome foundation is next. All right, today we are going to be talking about the Lancome Teint Idole Stick Foundation. To be precise, the Ultra Wear 5-in-1 Stick Foundation. The 5 that they're talking about is to conceal, contour, cover, highlight, and blend. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to do all of those with just one shade. You would have to get multiple shades. For the sake of this video and for the sake of me wearing it all the time, I use it for foundation only. This has the foundation on the top, and then on the bottom, it comes with what they call a kabuki brush. I have never used it. I likely never will. It's extremely dense. I cannot imagine this blending anything in. I'm sure you'd be able to find videos of somebody using it that way, but to me, it's just kind of an ornament on the foundation. It's not something I actually use. So I got the shade 330 Bisque Neutral, which is described as being for medium skin tones with a neutral undertone. I'm thinking I bought this in the summer because this is going to be a little bit deeper than the other ones that I use. It is also the least neutral in my opinion. I find this to be pinker than the other 2 neutrals that I use. So keep that in mind as well. This foundation comes in 22 shades and it is $46. It claims to have a full coverage with a matte finish, up to 24 hours of wear time. And it says it is a lightweight, silky formula that applies seamlessly and blends effortlessly with a natural looking matte finish and second skin feel. So this is one side. You can see when I cut away that I striped the foundation on and then blended it out with a kabuki brush. So this is the finish of my skin with just skincare and SPF. This is the finish with the foundation. I do not find it, again, to be flat matte. This is more of a satin matte to me versus a flat matte. And I think you're gonna see that none of the foundations that I'm using are flat matte, which is why I love them. But the longevity is still there. So I striped it on this side. Another way you can do it is take it straight from the component and add it to the brush that way, and then just kind of stipple it into the skin that way. I find both ways work just fine. However, I will say there have been a couple of times when I have striped it on, blended it out, done my makeup, gotten into the car, put my visor down or up to, add some lipstick or something, and I saw a little part of a stripe that I didn't blend out well enough. This is very easily blended, but it doesn't mean you can't miss some sometimes. And I do feel like it's easier for me to miss spots when I stripe it on versus when I take it straight from the component itself. It is a very good coverage. I do feel like you could definitely shear this down by determining how much product you want to use. If you wanted to, I always pick the best times to film, don't I? Chad's cutting the grass. If you wanted to use a fluffier brush, like a dual fiber brush or a super fluffy like powder brush even, you can manipulate the coverage of this foundation and shear it out a little bit more. That's really the case for any foundation, but I find it is especially the case for this. So here it is up close. Again, very satin matte. I would not call this a straight matte at all. Doesn't accentuate any pores, lays really nice and smooth on the skin, and was very fast and easy to apply. I really like traveling with stick foundations. To me, they are just very practical and convenient. So I'm going to finish up my makeup and we'll see how everything lays on top. All right, so makeup is complete, and this is what the Lancome stick foundation looks like with everything on top. Again, same powder, same bronzer. I didn't even put on highlight. That's natural. Who am I? I need to rectify that before I leave this room. But you can see that, you know, it still is not a very flat matte. And it lasts all day long in true Lancome fashion. No fail. So let's go on to the next and last Lancome foundation that we're going to talk about in this video. All right, today we're going to be talking about the final Lancome Teint Idole foundation, and this is the newest one, and it is the Ultra Wear Care and Glow foundation. This just launched last month. I am in the shade 310N. I did not see 260N, which I am in the original Teint Idole. This one only has 30 shades. The original has 50. I don't know if they plan on rectifying that and making it more shades, if it's just like an initial launch type thing. I am not sure. This one only has 30 shades. So I picked 310N, which is described as light to medium with neutral peach undertones. Same type packaging, different color pump and top, but this is still a glass bottle with a pump, and that is 310N. So you can see, to me, this is even a little bit thicker than the original. It doesn't slide down the hand as much. So I will start applying it on one half of the face and we'll see the difference. This foundation provides up to 24-hour transfer resistant, healthy looking glow with buildable medium coverage and SPF 27. It also includes hyaluronic acid and mandelic acids, which help smooth and refine the skin. It claims to have a medium coverage with a natural finish. And it is skincare infused with 82% hydrating serum base, which delivers a healthy looking, glowing makeup look that is also long lasting. So even though this has glow in the name, it doesn't necessarily state or claim that it has a luminous finish. It actually says natural finish. This is the side with the foundation. This is the side without. I personally think it has a very similar finish to the original, if not maybe a little less natural looking. Not that it doesn't look natural in the skin, but that it's not even as glowy to me on my skin. But it does provide a good, nice medium coverage. I also don't know that the coverage is that much different than the original, even though the original claims to have full coverage. But this also says it's medium buildable, so maybe that's why I'm feeling like it's very similar. Okay, so this is 2 pumps of the foundation. It covered all of my face and my neck. And I'll be interested to see when I go in and edit, because obviously I don't have the original and this on side by side, but I'd be interested to see how they look within the same video and I can see them kind of right next to each other, because I don't see a huge difference. The main difference is the addition of the hyaluronic acid and the mandelic acid, a higher SPF. So the original has an SPF 15 and this one has an SPF 27. And then also in the ingredients, it's important to note a couple of differences. The Care and Glow has alcohol denatured listed as the 4th ingredient. Some people do not like to have that in their foundations because they find it to be drying to the skin. I have not had any adverse drying effects to my skin, but it is worth noting that it is there. It also has fragrance. I do not detect a very strong fragrance like I do in the Lancome powder foundation, which to me is a knock you down perfume on your face fragrance. I do not detect that in this. It is very, very subtle. I have heard other people say that it knocks them down. It's something that is obviously subjective and is going to have to be determined by whoever is using it. But there is no fragrance listed or denatured alcohol in the original Teint Idole. However, there is many more skincare ingredients in this, and there is an ethyl paraben listed in the very bottom of the ingredient list for the original, where I do not see that on here. I personally am not someone who worries that over abundantly about that, but it is worth noting because I know some people do not wish to have that in their products. So a couple of differences in the ingredient deck, although I don't find it to be a complete huge difference in the way it looks on the skin. So I'm gonna go finish up my makeup and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the Care and Glow with everything on top. Just like all the rest, everything goes on great, blends out great. It's just all around great. So now that we have finished all 3 demos for the foundations that I'm going to talk about in this video. I am going to give you my final thoughts right now. All right, so let's talk about my final thoughts on these foundations. I do want to start out with the fact that I forgot to mention in the Lancome Stick Foundation that there is also no fragrance or alcohol listed, and it indeed has the smallest ingredient list out of all of them. So something to keep in mind as well. So let's quickly go over my thoughts, and then I'm going to tell you which one is my favorite out of all 3, even though I will go ahead and preface, I'm pretty sure you can determine, I love all of these foundations. I don't have an issue with any of them. I feel like if the name Lancome Teint Idole is in the name of a product, it is going to be very long lasting, which all 3 of these are. I have no issues about patching off. I have no issues with the wear. I can sweat in them. I can wear them on dry skin. It doesn't matter. They are bulletproof, in my opinion, and on my skin. Again, I don't see a huge difference in these 2 other than the things that I mentioned with the ingredients, the SPF, fragrance, alcohol, that kind of thing. So I think depending on what you want in a foundation, if you are, super sensitive to fragrance and alcohol, maybe try this one out. If you want something that has more skincare ingredients and don't really care about the other, maybe try this one out. But I personally think they're not that different. So I also think that if you have this one, maybe you don't necessarily need this one, and vice versa. As far as who should wear what, I typically do not go along with the claim that I see on foundation, information tabs about being appropriate for all skin types, because I really think that an oily skin person may not benefit from a foundation that is better for dry skin and vice versa. However, I do feel like these are going to work on a vast array of skin types. I have worn these in the dead of summer. I mean, even though this is fairly new, I've worn it on 100-degree days. I haven't worn this one, obviously, when it is super cold, but I have worn the other 2 when it's cold and maybe my skin is a little more tight and dry, and they still work. This one, I think a lot of people think is completely geared towards oily skin, and I personally don't feel that. I mean, I have worn it when my skin is the absolute driest in the dead of winter, and it works great. So I do feel like as a whole, many skin types can benefit from all 3 of these foundations. It just depends on what you're looking for. This one has a little bit more of a natural semi-matte finish, even though it's more natural in my opinion. This is more of a satin matte finish, and then this one is more of a natural finish. So none of them are super flat matte. None of them also are very luminous in my opinion. So if you're someone who likes that middle of the road, I think you're going to enjoy these. I always get asked, what do I think is going to work best on mature skin? If you are someone who feels like they benefit from more hydrating ingredients within a formula, then I would go for the Care and Glow and see how you like that. I also think the stick foundation would look beautiful because of how easy it is to manipulate. You can use very little, you can use a lot, you can shear it out, you can use different brushes. And while that is the case for liquid too, I just find that cream formulas are easier to manipulate all around. All that said, I have used this on mature clients and it's absolutely gorgeous. So again, I think it boils down to what you're looking for, but I feel like anything that you pick, you're gonna be happy with, at least from my experience. It does just boil down to, I feel like, the ingredients and how they differ and what you prefer to have in your formula. Now, as far as my favorite, I honestly did not think I had a favorite until I really started wearing these in a row, and I have to go with the stick. Believe it or not, is my favorite. I love all of them. But if I had to put them in order, I would say the stick, the original, and then the Care and Glow. The stick is just so easy to use. It's practical. It's easy to travel with. In fact, I'm going out of town this weekend on a long weekend. I'll be gone for 4 days, and this is the only foundation I'm going to take. It's just easy. It looks good. It may be the most expensive per gram out of all of them. but it just looks so good on the skin, doesn't even bother me. So definitely this one wins for me. In fact, I went ahead and bought 260 in this, in the case that in the winter, it is a little too dark. And I mean, this is all I have left in it anyways. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any additional questions about a certain one that I talked about, please be sure and leave them in the comments below. And if you've tried one that you love, be sure to let us know that as well. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.